Are we ready? Well, welcome. My name's Renee Carney. I'm on the community team. And so if you've come to the Canvas booth, you've probably stopped by our community booth. But I have our colleagues here, and they're going to be joining me in presenting, and they'll probably say a little bit of who they are when they come up. But let's get started. So Canvas Community, it's a thoughtfully cultivated space where we facilitate product engagement, we facilitate collaboration, networking, participation, and in there, you'll find some very intrinsically motivated users. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And in that, we're going to blow their covers a little bit. So let's go rogue. First, let's start with our employee agents. These are not so secret agents. You'll see some in the front lines all over the community, but then there's also part of the team that's in the background. So deep undercover, you'd say, but they're hard at work. We have some more not so secret agents here that are our Canvas coaches. What's unique is that they share without abandon in this community, and they found niches that they dove in, and we tapped them to take on a little more official role. So coaches, if you're here, will you stand up just so people can find you later? There. They're pretty awesome individuals. I'm sure if you've asked a question or posted any type of comment, you've probably seen them replying. Bless you. So now we're going to introduce you to some secret agents, or ones that you're not aware of anyways. They're secret because they're not employees. They're also not coaches. One's an employee, but we snuck him in there. They also share without abandon in the community. So they're awesome as individuals, but they're even more powerful as a connected unit. So buckle up. We're going to shock you a little, maybe. So the first one we want to talk about is STACY Lambert. STACY, also known as Racy Stacy. She says you'll have to ask her about that later. She's out of Wallsend campus of Callaghan College in New South Wales, Australia. So you'll find her focused on teaching and learning there. She hangs out with a rowdy crowd, as you can see. And, sorry, I lost my spot. Her Canvas connection doesn't just end at work. Her husband also teaches in Canvas, and her children take Canvas courses. So she's known for her willingness to share, among other positive traits. So let's look at STACY a little bit. Her and her associate used the group feature of Canvas to provide individual Canvas spaces to each of their students. So the private space that is also shared with the instructor allows students to secure and a secure and familiar place to perform project-based learning. They have all of the features of Canvas available to them, and it eliminates the need to create multiple submission assignments along the way, as a teacher can check in anytime they want. So STACY shared with us, and I want to quote her because it was pretty good. It says, "We're new and get excited when we discover things we can do. We are sure people have already uncovered these things and the potential with students, but still got excited. I also have a couple of nice comments from people suggesting other strategies. It is so helpful. However, apart from the post, the true part of this is what the students got out of doing the project that I wrote about. It was transformational. In fact, so good that I'm going to buy them pizza." So this post is highly recommended if you're interested in any type of project-based learning. But she's not only using individual student groups, she's also using community groups. So in their transition, her team had a need to connect the schools in the region, the Hunter region, as they transitioned to Canvas. So one thing that they did is they created their HUG group. It's the Hunter user group of Canvas. And they tackle pedagogy, however you want to say it, and other different instructional design topics. Now, one thing that they're very aware of with this group is that they don't want to recreate the community in that group, because the community as a larger whole is more valuable. So they know that their internal group is meant to handle and tackle their internal needs, but then they share out with the greater community. So she's involved in Canvas groups, community groups. Are you guys sensing a theme here? Let's just call her groupsta, you know, like gangsta, but more community awesome. She has also been participating in a group that's going to connect us with our next secret agent. And so we'll get to that in a minute. But in this group, she's been providing development feedback and influencing the final product of what you saw this week when Canvas Teacher was launched. So thank you, Stacy, for being awesome. Now that I gave that hint, are there any guesses who our next secret agent might be? None?
Very secret.
Very secret?
I know.
Yeah? Who?
Is it PEYTON, CRAIGHILL?
PEYTON? Come on up, Erin.
That's what you're supposed to do, guys. You're supposed to guess this. All right, so let me introduce you to Dr. Mobile, in case you don't get it. Mobile.
Yeah.
There's a bunch
of people standing, there's people trying to get in. If you have a seat next to you that's empty, can you scoot in just a little bit?
All right, take a break, make a friend. Yeah. All right. People are now leaving. Is it something we said? We love all of you. All right. Thanks for that. We want you to all be comfortable. We appreciate you being here. All right. Okay. So we'll jump back into this now. So, Dr. Mobile, also known as Swipe Right, Self-E, Digits, and Killer App. He is Instructure's mobile product manager, and he can be found on the 5th floor of Instructure headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah. When he's not hanging out with other product managers, he has been known to associate with Panda and also associate with the Canvas Mobile Users Group. So he may be funny and he may be weird, but PEYTON is really known for his openness and product perspective. So he has several ways that he does this that we want to share with you. So he facilitated the entire Canvas Teacher App beta focus group that we had. And one of the things that he did was he created blog posts every week. So this is one of our favorite blog posts that he created that shows a breakdown of a iOS engineer and what his typical desk would look like. And according to the blog post, this is what Canvas teacher development looks like all day, at every desk in the mobile area with few exceptions. So there's some comical things here, and we all really appreciate his sense of humor and openness. But PEYTON isn't just open in this type of environment. He's more open as well in more of a public space. Canvas Studio is where we have a lot of our product priorities. And the reason that we have this space is because our product team is very smart, and they know that you guys have opinions on features that we build. So one of the things that they do here is they invite you to give feedback. So this is the one that we had up for the Canvas Teacher app. And if you were to go to Canvas Studio and click on this page and click on the Explore and Contribute button, you would see the page dedicated to the Canvas Teacher app. And PEYTON has taken everybody through different stages in this process of developing this app. So we started with the Explore stage, and then we went into the design stage, and then the develop and test stage. And along the way, every stage talks about what you can do to contribute. So in this stage, he outlined exactly the different parts of the app and what was going to be in them, and that you could see related ideas and whatnot. And then recently this week, as you all now know, we are now in the release stage. So everybody can actually access the app. So you may think to yourself, okay, I wasn't part of all these previous stages, so what does that mean? Well, Peyton has gone through as well and kind of summarized what happened in every stage before. So this is also part of his openness and transparency, and he did, again, just did a summary and shared it back with everybody who comes back to reference this information to kind of see what happened in that stage, and you can kind of see how things have evolved from there. So this isn't the only place, like I mentioned, that you'll see Peyton participating. He also will participate in idea comments, and this is one that we really liked, even though it has nothing to do with him as the mobile product manager, but it definitely shows his openness. So this is an example of a thread, an idea thread that is a little bit older. It's dated from 2015, and it's on the product radar, which means product team is aware of it, but not much they've done with it, but they're aware of it being there, and it has, you know, quite a few votes. So Peyton got in here and he left a comment and said, this is a really great idea, but he wanted to be open, transparent, and say, there's something with Canvas in terms of the functionality that we cannot build this feature yet. And so this is an example of if you get an idea and you feel like you're not being listened to or something, it may just be that the timing of your idea is just not entirely correct. There might be something in Canvas that needs to be developed further before your idea can actually come to fruition. So this idea is not just important for highlighting Peyton, but it also connects him to our next special agent. So this was farther down in that post. So our next special agent read this thread accidentally. She found it while looking through something else. And she lets us know that she is an avid blogger. She has been blogging since 2015. And she does a lot with person-centered streams. Does anyone have any idea on who this person might be? What was that?
Who said that?
You're right.
Laura Gibbs.
Laura Gibbs.
Stephanie's going to tell us about her.
Let me tell you why Laura Gibbs is the cat's meow. Here's Laura Gibbs. Laura Gibbs's hub is the University of Oklahoma, but she spans the world with her online instruction and sharing of knowledge. She's always accompanied by one of her lolcat posse, which is how she earned the alias Canvas Cat. In the community, you may know her as the Fox. She certainly called herself the Fox. That's one of her aliases. And you'll also see her referred to as Online CRS Lady. That's her Twitter handle as well. So if you follow her on Twitter, you know that. Now, you'll notice that one of her aliases is LMS Skeptic. And in fact, you'll often see her comment in the community that she doesn't use many, if not most, of the features in Canvas. She does, but not to the extent that you would expect from someone who is such an enthusiastic proponent of Canvas. So why is it that this LMS skeptic loves Canvas so much? And this is where you're going to hear the phrase that you're probably going to hear a lot if you spend any time at all in the Canvas community, and that's in Canvas. There are so many ways to skin a cat, again with the cat theme. Laura fell in love with Canvas because its flexibility and its openness allows her to populate her Canvas course with external feeds of content so elegantly, as you'll see in a moment, because we'll be showing a few examples of her work. She also loves how Canvas's open architecture allows her to deploy community-created user scripts, something else we're going to talk about in just a little while when we talk about another of our undercover secret agents. Laura does a lot of her sharing in the Canvas community, but you will also find a hefty trail of her brilliance and sharing in her Devotedly Digital blog. Her Why I Love Teaching Online is a must-read, especially if you're still on the fence about the validity and possibilities of online instruction. This year, Laura Gibbs took her love of teaching online and combined it with her passion for connected learning with cats to host a Canvas Live series. Now, if you're not familiar with Canvas Live, definitely check it out. You can see that Laura has many different different Canvas Live events that she has featured her work in: YouTube playlists, JavaScripts in Canvas, Growth Mindset, blog as homepage, Twitter for Canvas. And since this list has been created, she's done even more. And you can find all of her sessions in the Canvas Live section of the community or in her user blog, canvas.lauragibbs.net. Teaching with Canvas, Confessions of an LMS Minimalist. I see a Laura Gibbs binge in your future. And we cannot forget about Laura's growth mindset. In Laura's writings, you'll find reference to the Exploring Growth Mindset course that she created and shared openly. Such a powerful resource for personal growth or for sharing with others. And it would be a shame not to mention the collection of growth mindset memes provided by her lolcat posse, of course. As with all of our secret rogue agents, there are so many more resources that we could list for Laura. You're just going to have to dig into the community and look for yourself. And we have done our best to make that super simple for you because Laura has a custom quest that's built around her resources. Anyone can complete that quest by clicking on their own profile in the community and then on the Rewards tab. You will see it under Available Quests, and you can see it here on the screen. It's the Connected Learning with Cats playlist, and you complete that to get a badge associated with the quest. And if that's not enough, Laura is the only community member who has created her own user quest. Check it out in her blog post, Connected Learning with Cats Master Challenge. She even gives away her own points to anyone who completes it. The final resource we're going to explore was selected by us not only because of its content, but also because of its connections. So first, content. Laura created and shared a simple script and widget that will allow you to embed an automated announcement widget anywhere the rich content editor is available to you in Canvas. In her blog post, she gives examples of using this same script outside of Canvas, but here you can see how she used it at the top of her syllabus page, which she uses as the home page of her course. This blog post isn't just awesome because of its purported content, but it also shows another side of the community. It demonstrates the personal relationships that can be and are being developed in the online environment. If you read this thread, you'll see a great deal of technical jargon and work, but then mixed in the middle, there's this golden nugget of humanity. This conversation continues on and connects us to our next secret agent. And no, it's not James Jones. Can anyone guess who it is? Oh, it is Ken Black.
All right. So unfortunate for all of you, I'm the least prepared of all my predecessors because my notes on Ken Black are still sitting on my desk back in Washington State. But That's all right, because Ken Black is one of my heroes in the community, despite his relative newness to his contributions. And that's kind of the point of what we're showing you. Most of these people have become active in the community really recently and within the last year. Ken's alias is Canvas Ken, and he's earned that alias. Some of his his identity: he's an associate CTLE director teaching and learning technologies. His last known whereabouts are the Dominican University in Illinois. His known associates, and this is one of the things I love about Ken, his son is first on the list. He's administrative assistant in the physician assistance program at Dominican, so they're both there. And how cool is that when you can work your career with your own son? His distinguishing attributes: humor, and he is a very funny individual. And as he's helping you, he's interjecting that humor right into it and helping people, because that is what Ken is most known for in a community that is all about helping people. Some of the things that Ken has accomplished for the community and Canvas users is what the setup checklist does not tell you in Canvas. You know, we've all seen that, especially all of us newer users. We look at that setup checklist, and what Ken has done is helped advise people on how to expand that setup checklist so that it's more meaningful, because what it really is incredibly generic. And it doesn't fit everybody. And actually, there's been a lot of feature requests within the community about customizing it. And so Ken is helping us with that. I'm trying to read ahead on the next slides, you know, because I really am sorry. Some of the bullet points on his setup checklist says, don't even think of clicking that publish button for your course before checking your course for student view. And I grabbed that one randomly, and I could not give better advice to anybody in the world. Those of us who are Canvas admins at our schools understand the problem of our faculty not publishing their courses. But even worse sometimes is the problem of them publishing it without that course actually being ready and creating so much confusion with their students. So incredible advice, and that's what we get from Ken Black. Ken has an incredible expertise with Canvas and with instructional technology in general. But what he does with that expertise is he reaches it down to the most casual and newest user and helps it make sense to them, which is a very important attribute of Ken. And he does this really just because he wants to help, he wants to contribute. This is a find answer screen. And this is one of the things that I love best about Ken. Thank you. This is a joy of being unprepared, because sometimes you can be entirely impromptu. You know, what's my line anyways? What's that?
Bottom right.
What about bottom right?
Here, so the notes are here.
Yeah, well, I don't need it. Because... No, this is okay, because the role of the community is to help and share. And there is so much traffic in Find Answers, because the purpose of that is to help Canvas users learn what they need to learn about knowing Canvas. And I follow Find Answers religiously. All of the community team does. And we're a small team, and there's 185,000 members as of last week in the community, and they've all got questions. And I'll see somebody's question, and I'll read it. I'll start to scroll down to provide an answer, because that's one I know the answer to. And oh my God, Ken's been there before me. And not only has he been there before me, but he has provided a truly incredible answer to the person who needs it the most. And it's one of the things that I greatly appreciate about Ken. I have no idea. Let me see. When we took a peek at Ken's profile, we noticed that he was interacted with more than 400 questions. Okay, small print, and exactly what I just said, you know. So that's awesome. Quiz Whiz enhancements. I'm really not qualified to talk about Quiz Whiz enhancements to Speed Grader and quizzes from Ken. But I'm going to use this as a jumping off point to give away our next secret agent. It's worth it. Somehow Ken also finds the time, and I'm not sure when because he's really busy in the community for as short a time as he's been in there and participating. But to stay connected and engaged in resources posted by other community members, and he's always one of the first ones to share kind words of praise and admiration. And does this lead into who our next person is? Does anybody have a guess? One more slide? Oh, that's kind of a clue, isn't it? I mean, like, that's kind of like right in your face who this might be. Anybody have a guess? Yeah, there's no secret. The amazing James Jones. And what is not a secret is who's going to talk about him.
Well, I'm not really sure how I can follow that one. Thankfully, I'm married to this person, so I didn't have to bring note cards. I can just ad-lib and it will go. So, further ado, James Jones. So his aliases. So the Rainmaker, the awesome James Jones, Mr. Canvancement, Emperor of API, and number 2. Anyone want to hazard why he's called number 2? Well, could it be in our household? Yeah. Well, you know, when you have a husband who's as amazing as I do, any little thing you can have, like having 20 or 30,000 more points than him, you take it. So, yeah. But what he would like you to know, biggest, I think, is that he identifies himself as a professor of mathematics. Even though we know him as, we probably think of him as a programmer or for his advancements, he really sees himself as a math professor who also moonlights as our internet system specialist at Richland. So he says he's a math professor, so we're going to go with that one. Last known whereabouts are at our college, Richland. His known associates are myself and our 2 children. If you're on Twitter, you've probably seen, yes, Canvas Baby and the Canvas Kid. If you're on Twitter, you can actually look up those hashtags and you can see some really cute pictures of our kids. Yeah, I'm a mom, I have to do that plug. Also, distinguishing attributes. I think the biggest one is the honesty, because he is pretty bluntly honest as his wife. I know not to ask if I look fat. And the other thing is that the man does not believe in TLDR. Do you know what that means, TLDR? Too long, didn't read. And so that means you like summarize. So instead of like, if it's gonna be this big, huge thing, you do TLDR and you do like, here's like the 1-sentence summary of what that is. James does not believe in that. James believes in providing all of his thoughts and all of the documentation. And so sometimes that means like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And I could keep scrolling and you still wouldn't be at the bottom of some of his thoughts. But so I think the biggest thing is James is very prolific in the community. So, and not only is he prolific, but he comes back and he'll update some of his content. So here, how to count discussion posts, you can see where he's continually updating. So I know we've had people ask, well, what happens if it breaks? Well, he's going through and people say, hey, that's not working, or if he notices something's not working, he comes back to the community and is continually updating the things that he does. He also, along with it being really helpful, we had someone come in and say, how do I remove the export course from settings? And there was some conversation about that. And James came in, and literally in one night, he was going to answer it, and then he realized, and I'm not sure how much you can read of this, that, you know what, and this is the TLDR thing, I'm just going to write an entire blog and answer your question. So what started out as just this simple question, James gave this much of an answer just to say, go see this blog. Yeah. And this blog goes on and on. I literally looked this one up because it's worth reading, and it's a very good read, but at the same time, it just goes on. And the TLDR, really good, really useful, really informative, but does not believe in TLDR. Probably the biggest thing he's known for, and if any of you were able to attend, he actually did accomplish the impossible, the Canvancement session that unfortunately was cut off by the fire alarm. Thank you, whoever pulled that sucker on us. But there is in Canvas an entire page that I created where every time he comes up with something new and amazing, I just add it to this page. So for those of you who want to know more about his Canvancements, like his upload or rubric from an Excel spreadsheet into Canvas, you can do it. You want to change all assignment due dates on one page? You can do it. You want to rearrange the order of your course dash cards. So you're on your home page and you want to, that order is just awful and you want to rearrange it. He's got a free Canvancement. You click on one of these links, it'll take you to the directions in the video. All of this is out there, all of it's free, and this is just some of what James does in the community. So this isn't it, this is just his Canvancements. He's a huge help throughout the community, everything he does. And as I said before, he is continually updating. So he has fun dialogue with other people, with other instructors. In fact, someone commented he has Quiz Whiz, which I love, I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong, it says Quiz Whiz. What it really is enhancements to SpeedGrader. It speeds things up. But so here's someone, Dallas, if you know Dallas, he came in and said, hey, this isn't working. And within, I think, 24 hours, or less, James came back and said, here, I was able to figure out the problem, Dallas helped me, and it's all fixed. So that's just illustrating how James does come back and he continually fix things and update things. It also might give you a hint as to who our next secret person is. It could be Dallas, yes.
Indeed. Our next speaker, our next secret agent is Dallas HULSEY. Turnitin guy. Dallas can be found at New Mexico Junior College. Dallas is a professor of English, and he's the chairperson of the humanities department there. And you might see him palling around in the community with me, Kona Jones, and the one and only Josh Coates, or possibly his pet iguana. Dallas is not a man of mystery in the community. He is a man who unravels mysteries. He's the #1 Turnitin operative. He's an LTI explorer, he's a Perusal spy, and he's pretty darn good at non-programming hacks. His most recent non-programming hack is stopping intra-class dishonesty via discussions. In that blog, he focuses on 2 features for discussions that you need to turn on in order to help prevent dishonesty in classes. One is, in a discussion, turn on, users must post before seeing replies, and the other is turning off, let students edit or delete their own discussion posts. And I can tell you, I've followed that advice in my own classes, and I found it to be very simple and very helpful. But he doesn't stop there. After talking about the mechanical steps that he takes to prevent dishonesty, he also details the steps he takes to manage the expectations of his students before they submit their work. So the conversation thread around this artifact of subterfuge prevention will increase the number of tools in your own spy belt. When asked about what his most rewarding mission was, he told us that the one that sticks the most in his mind was when he helped a student figure out how to access Canvas on her Kindle. Many people tried to help her, and over months of time, and they were not able to help her do it. And he was finally able to figure it out. He grabbed his kid's Kindle and found out that what she needed to do was to use the Silk browser. And he said, it felt nice to help a student after so many others had tried. And what a great heart that is. That's really nice. Helping students, isn't that really why we're all here? But with all of that said, I'll bet if I asked all of you what you thought Dallas's most rewarding mission was, you would undoubtedly tell me that it is his Canvas and Turnitin knowledge bank. Now, we made this slide just a very short time ago. And when we made this slide, you can see that this blog had 41,240 views, which made it, by far the most actively viewed piece of content in the community. But I checked it last night, and last night it had 55,709 views. Let me tell you, this is one popular, and as a former user of Turnitin, I can tell you this is the most valuable resource as a Turnitin user I could possibly imagine having. It's just awesome. He started the blog post with the launch of the new community in April of 2015, and he updates it regularly. It's by far the most comprehensive resource about using Turnitin and Canvas you are going to find anywhere. So much so that Turnitin directs users to it. It's one of the top pieces of content in the community. Did any of you catch his presentation? He presented here yesterday with Turnitin. I thought that was very cool. And with that, the Turnitin guy connects us to our next secret agent. As you might guess by the title, you'll find Dallas participating in this fabulous discussion posted by...
And I have to apologize to Miss Stefanie Pope, and we'll go through here, Dr. Rimmer, because we're not going to have time for them. But what I will promise you is we'll put this presentation in the community so you can come in and look at their awesomeness. But what I do want to ask you is, here you're getting a little preview, why? Why would we show you all of these connections and all of this content?
So we can use them.
So you can use them? I'm sorry? And participate. But why else? Did any of you know how rich or large the community was before coming in and just seeing like this small little piece? Yes? Good. I'm glad. Then maybe we didn't need to do this. No, I'm kidding. This is, a passionate project that we do, and you could probably tell by everyone that came up here that they really, really love it, and the individuals in the community too. So if you haven't gotten in there, I encourage you to get in there, look around. There's something for everyone. We tried to show you a breadth of K-12, higher ed, international, domestic, and all different kinds of topics. So on that, thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing you in the community.